I'm the Vac
I'm Buster.
And this week in Toku, we're going to be discussing more Sentai SH Figuarts. The reason we're not talking about the Illuminerdi ever again. And Kamen Rider Beyond Generations. That came out this week, along with a whole lot of other stuff. It's a big week here. There's a lot going on. We're gonna get into all of it. But first, Buster, how you doing?
It's been a chill day. Just been vibing. Well, catching up on Dog Enders. Yes, we're finally talking about Dog Enders. And just vibing.
Okay.
That's all I got. What are you doing, Vacuuminator?
I'm in a fucking mood.
Just like a rapid mood. How would you describe it?
Good things better start happening to me, or I'm gonna put my foot in someone's ass's mood.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of does feel like. Hopefully, the summer will bring in some good news.
Yeah. I mean, I'm genuinely feeling positive for the most part about my life. I had a much more productive weekend than I have in a few weeks, but still not up to snuff. And y'all always know how to ruin my good mood. So,
I think I just need to get off Twitter. We both need to get off Twitter more and just stick with the just Discord DMs or something.
I'm just gonna schedule a daily tweet of just Tesla bad until Elon suspends me.
I would suggest to vary it up every time, but then I realize, that defeats the purpose.
Yeah, just see how long it takes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it, everybody. If you like this podcast, if you like listening to our suffering, please support us. Like the video, give us a comment, talk about what you think about shit that happened this week. Subscribe to the channel so you can get this and all the other modular shows as they come out. Don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. And follow us if you're listening to this on a non-YouTube podcasting platform. And in order to keep up with news and updates of everything and anything we're doing, follow us on Twitter at the Modular Media and join the subreddit, which is r/Modular Media. But that would normally be all of our corporately mandated plugging. But let it never be said that hard work goes unnoticed, because we have been smiled upon. We are now noticed by Senpai. And we have been sent executives to sit in on the recording of the podcast to make sure things don't get too out of hand. So if you look at the episode release art on YouTube, you might notice some figures looming in the background. The specters of Hector Hasbro, John Toei, and Terry Subaraya are now with us.
Yeah, pretty exciting yet nervous. Hopefully we please our corporate overlords.
Yeah. Speaking of corporate overlords, let's get into the news.
All right.
So,
this is the stupidest news item we've ever covered.
A man updated his bio on Twitter, and that's news.
Yeah.
I hate my life. Jonathan Elswile, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Entwistle.
Entwistle. What the fuck ever. He's the guy directing the Power Rangers reboot, we think. He updated his Twitter to first say that the movie is now called The Power Rangers, and then he removed it and one of the other things from the list of things he's working on. And people are assuming that means he's off the project, but we don't know jack or shit.
Bro, it's probably an NDA thing, guys. They probably just want okay, we're gonna re-reveal this because we've been working on this for a bit, and it's things have changed because of COVID or other, the mandates, or just Dino Fury being a surprise success. So it's we're gonna change it up a bit, and we gotta wait. Or just hey, we don't want to talk about this publicly until this date. It's just some NDA bullshit, probably.
Yeah.
And y'all just I'm tired of the Power Rangers fandom and /Toku fandom just being.
I just can't believe people spent an entire 2 days talking about nothing but this.
Yeah, and also, whoever made a discussing film parody account to spread this lie, why? That's not even a funny joke.
Thing?
Someone needs to verify discussing film with the amount of stupid parody accounts that spread misinfo.
I didn't realize that was a thing.
It was a thing for a while, and someone did this with the Hasbro thing, and you're not funny, guys. Misinfo is not funny. Unless it's clearly exaggerated as a joke. Just Anyway, good news. Bandai sales, money, hooray.
Toy company makes money, more at 11.
Yeah, but this is
We
good for Sentai.
Actually, it's not too good for Sentai. What we're looking at here is the first quarter for 2022 sales numbers from Bandai, which shows that everything is kind of maintaining its place. However, Sentai is the one thing that's like clearly slipped a little this year. Whereas last year, around this time, they were bringing in 5.2 billion yen. Now it's just 5 billion.
Well, it's
And
better. This is a less drop than like previous years because last drop was 6.8 to 5.2. So see, like, and keep in mind this is the Zenkaiger numbers.
yeah,
So like this is
this is
doesn't say anything about Don Brothers
well,
yet.
this is like late Zenkaiger, early Dawn Brothers. It's a little bit of both.
Yeah. But like Don Brothers, like I feel like with the mecha, there might be like an increased chance of like getting the sales. So we'll see by this time next year if Don Brothers is the shakeup that like will work.
That's what I'm
Um,
thinking too, because like people are, of course, dooming and glooming over this because consistent drop. Sentai has been going down in sales numbers since I think Shinkenger. Uh,
I don't
but
know.
but
Kyoryuger was like the best selling Sentai though, so I'm like, whatever.
I don't know. But basically, people are doomsaying over this. I don't see it as a big deal. It is notable that, like, hey, they dropped a couple percentiles here. But I'm also like, well, this is just the beginning of Dawn Brothers. Dawn Brothers hasn't even introduced its big centerpiece toy yet. That's not properly on the market. Um, I think we won't really know until we get close to the third quarter financials.
Yeah.
Um, and because Dawn Brothers itself, like, it really feels like a slow burn kind of show. It doesn't feel like a show that's trying to wow you and make you be into it right away. It's trying to make you go, what the fuck is going on, enough that you'll stick around and slowly get more and more into it.
As this week's episode proved, but we'll get into that later. But
Yeah.
yeah, I still think it's good that like the drop wasn't as major or like it was just a slight drop, but like it's just, a drop is still a drop. Although
Yeah.
something to note, Ultraman nearly doubled its sales this year.
Yeah. And Ryder ticked up a little bit after ticking down last year.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the tick down was for. Well, then again, that was from the Geo High, so
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it
the
was for the
Geo High going into Saber.
Yeah, Yeah, I think like Saber might have made it drop, which
But yeah, Ultraman doubling its numbers is huge. It's great, and
yeah, especially because
I
it
mean,
just got a big movie release.
yes,
So
yeah. And I don't have a proper news story for this because I don't know anybody who like covers Japanese box office properly. But Shin Ultraman is doing really well in Japan. Like
yeah,
it has the biggest May opening in Japan ever. It's the biggest opening for an Ultraman film ever,
it's
and
already the
it's
highest grossing Ultra film.
yeah, and it's on track to be the highest grossing Japanese film since Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, that's really good news, especially if Shin Kamen Rider will follow suit. Because like if we look at the numbers, Kamen Rider still sells more than Ultraman, so it might even do better. Everyone's getting money, everyone. I hope if you properly pay your workers, which we
Yeah.
know Toei's kind of bad at, but yeah, what you gonna do?
Well, speaking of making money, hey, look, it's the first movie to make a trillion yen.
Yeah, Hideaki Anno's Shin Kamen Rider. We got a trailer for it. I'm gonna let Vac talk because I kind of already talked about this on my own channel.
Yeah, first proper trailer because we did have that teaser, which was a recreation of the original opening, but now, which I believe this was first shown in front of screenings of Shin Ultraman, we get just like a bunch of silent footage set to some cool music of just like, look, this is what this film's going to look like. We are going as back to basics as you possibly can, and we're kind of doing a period piece at the same time. And yeah, I'm into it. I'm down to clown. This movie looks gorgeous. There's a lot of reused locations and recreated shots from the original show, but they're also like adding layers that weren't originally there. And it seems like they're sticking very much to that original premise, that original premise and tone and feel that's kind of there for the first 10 or so episodes before they switch to Rider 2, especially
Yeah.
with how they've redone the opening narration for the poster to make it more fit in with this version of Shocker, because we also got a new poster along with this. I'm
It's
just
all in English.
Yeah, I am very impressed and very into this movie.
Yeah, this looks so good. Like I think the moment that got me like, oh, was like when Nigo showed up and did the like little pose, and I was like, oh, that's and then his eyes grew up, and I was like, oh, that's like a hype worthy moment.
Yeah.
Um, and then
Um
just like them, like they all got trench coats. That's so
yeah.
cool.
Everybody gets a trench coat. It's 1997 again, baby.
Yeah. I hope this movie will cause a trench coat revolution, but that's speaking a bit too much. But it'll still make a trillion yen.
Yeah. And speaking of making a trillion yen, we're just keeping this train going because SH Figuarts Donmomotaro got announced.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna be waiting a bit, but no.
Right here. And I think this really speaks to the new formula they're going for, because they also teased a Shinshoku Seiho Akiba Red. I think what they're going to stick to is like just doing reds slash main characters and fan favorites occasionally, because I think that's what they tried to do the first time around, but they like really focused on, we're going to do the fan favorite teams. We're going to give you all of Shinkanger and Gokaiger, and we're gonna try and give you all of Jetman, and Akiba Ranger's huge, so we got to give you everything from that. And I think that wore a lot of people down, because Sentai fans, we're into our favorites, we love our favorites, but we don't want to spend like 50 to 80 bucks for essentially the same figure with different accessories 5 to 6 times in a row. It's
I
just
think
it's
this
a
might
big.
be. I think this might be a reason why Zenkaiger and Don Brothers are like very leaning into every character has like a different mold.
Yeah.
Just to justify the SH figure art. Maybe I don't know. That's just a stretch, but like, yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, like I also got some new shots of Zenkaiser. And that looks good. Just they look so good, and I hope they stick with main character stuff. Like, and then like if a character becomes fan favorite by the end, then they'll do a fan favorite.
Yeah.
I already have a Don Momotaro, the Change Hero, but I'm very tempted to double dip. For the SH figure art.
Yeah, I mean this looks like a very good figure. It does have some of the gappy problems that are just inherent to doing Sentai suits as figure arts, but it looks like as good as you could possibly do at this point in time with Don Momotaro's design.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wait until we're further in the show and I have the character more properly felt out. But for now, I'm gonna keep my eye on this. I'm not sure if I'm getting it yet, but I'm gonna keep my eye on it.
Yeah. Also hoping for a Zenkaiser Black remold.
Ooh, yeah. Uh, all right, let's move on to the shitty news.
Yeah, two shitty pieces. This one more shittier because it's an actual person being shit.
Oh shit, my link for this first one
Oh,
isn't good
deleted.
anymore.
I'm guessing people because I know there's some people been harassing people who report on it, so I'm like, that's not good.
All right, well, I'll see if I can find a good link for this between now and when it goes up, or when the episode goes up, rather. But so basically, what has happened is a young woman has basically done a speaking out post a couple different times on Instagram. She keeps deleting it and reposting it. I there's multiple reasons that could be. My guess would be harassment, but basically explaining that she is currently pursuing a legal case against Michael Copon, who, if you don't know, is the actor who portrayed Time Force Blue in Power Rangers Time Force. I literally do not remember the character's name because he's one of the most bland and forgettable Rangers of all time.
Yeah,
Uh,
the character's not even that great, so I don't even know why people are like strongly defending them.
Yeah, but nowadays Michael Copon works as a music producer and he has a recording studio in his house. So he apparently invited this young woman over to his house to record a demo or something like that and proceeded to take advantage of her. Um That is what she is saying. Because this is an actual legal case that is being pursued and we don't have a verdict yet, I'm going to stick to terms like that is what has been said and allegedly, because I like to let these things work out as they work out before I make a personal judgment. That's why I'm not one of the assholes who's constantly talking about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, but thing is, if this is true, if he does indeed get convicted of this and whatever verdict comes, of all the shitty things that like older Power Rangers actors have come out and done in the last couple years, I'm gonna go ahead and say I think this would be the worst because yes, Rick Medina killed a dude, but this woman is gonna have to live the rest of her life with this trauma if she did indeed go through it. Like
Yeah.
whatever restitution she gets through this case or therapy she can get down the line, that's still always gonna be there. Um, and if that's true, Michael Copon is probably the biggest asshole, and I think he should probably be blacklisted from every convention there is.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's
And
not even a great guy to have at conventions to begin with. I actually, there was a running joke at PMC5 of like him being a money grubbing carny scumbag because
okay, I was just about to mention that because I know he's a scammer.
yeah,
Because he,
almost the entire Time Force cast was at PMC. I think there was just like one ranger missing. It was either Katie or Trip. It was one of those actors. But and like pretty much everyone at PMC except for like the big names was doing the what I call the standard you know me from one thing but you love me from that one thing actor deal at a convention, which is $25 for an autograph, $25 for a photo. If you get both, I'll take it down to 40 as a combo deal. Or if you bring your own item, I'll sign it for just $20. Michael Copon was charging $50 for everything.
yeah. I even then he did like a GoFundMe for a Power Rangers thing, and I don't think he actually made it.
Yeah.
So
And like you add that on top, add all that on top of the fact that he plays one of the most bland, forgettable characters in the entire franchise's history. So bad that I can't remember the character's name, just their one character trait of I like cars that go fast. Yeah, fuck this guy.
yeah, screw him. I know the character name, but I don't know if I should say it.
I mean, it's not like the characters.
I know. But I'm not sure if I should say it, no, because you can't remember it. I just don't know if it would be funnier to just not say it.
That's true. All right, let's go
For like
ahead.
more petty news, petty from us, but like still, you know.
All right. So via the Illuminerdi, we have a exclusive announcement, which is we previously reported that David Yost is returning for the 30th season of the show, and now he could be returning for this anniversary special as well. Oh, I skipped past the first line because there's a fucking video on this article. The 30th anniversary of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is quickly approaching, and with it comes new information on how Hasbro plans to celebrate this momentous occasion. The Illuminati can exclusively reveal that alongside the 30th anniversary season, there will be a reunion special that will reunite some of the original cast of MMPR. That being the original four who are still with us. This is fucking hilarious because this is a rumor that's been floating around for months, and they're reporting it as an exclusive story, and they're using the same fucking sketchy source that we called them out on last time when they talked about David Yost coming back to the show.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's just like, what the hell are you doing, bros? Just like we and like when we got like 3 stories, right, bro? James Gunn consistently calls you out on your stupid Guardians 3 rumors. Oh my god, just shut up.
And you talk and like free rights out of like a couple hundred wrongs don't make you a reliable news source.
Mm-hmm.
But like this is just like a consistent thing with Illuminerdi where they've become like a fucking cancer on this fandom of constantly reporting shit and stirring the pot and getting everybody to talk about these I don't want to say ridiculous but flavorous rumors that have no real basis. And like, here's
They're
the
the
thing.
entire reason we're dealing with people saying Power Rangers is canceled, and when like, bruh,
Yeah,
Hasbro invested money, even they ain't gonna. This
because
isn't
this is
how.
also they also say in this article like, hey, the 30th anniversary is going to have 44-minute long episodes, but we've now learned that this is going to be a 44-minute long special, and the rest of the episodes are going to be normal length. Like, as fucking if.
Yeah.
It's I'm just so fucking sick of this shit. I'm so sick of having to deal with this crap. Like it's legitimately stories like this that make me wonder if it would be better if like Power Rangers went the way of the broniedom. If we turned into a if the show just fucking ended and people tried to get invested in a reboot and it didn't work out and so everybody moved on to other shit like fucking whatever Japanese Toku is currently airing, and then the only people left are neo Nazis who are sick of hiding behind cryptocurrency.
That's oh god, that sounds like a
Like,
rabbit hole.
I don't want the show to end. Like the whole rumor they've been perpetuating, which this adds on to, is like, say this does actually happen. Say this is the final season of Power Rangers, and we get an anniversary special with the original four coming back. Would that be fun? Maybe. Would it be an interesting character piece? Big maybe. Would it be fucking hilarious to think of how salty JDF gets over not being invited back? Yes. However, I don't want it. I would just rather that the show end on Dino Fury than getting this, because shaking my hand before you kick me in the balls is no better than just kicking me in the balls.
Yeah, I don't know. Just not even. I don't even like why the reunion special. Just like I feel I'm one of those people who are like the Power Rangers franchise needs to move into a new direction and not like a reboot, but just keep like doing the thing. Like I know I'm
Iterating
a
on the kind of things Dino Fury is doing, with like
yeah.
telling interesting stories that add on to the canon but aren't overly reliant on it, and get creative with the source material.
Yeah. Like Dino Fury's like been pretty good. Like yeah, there's some slip ups here and there, but every season has slip ups. Time Force has a lot of slip ups. I'm sorry to report.
RPM has a slip up. It's called And Action.
Oh, the action was weird. And yeah, it kind of was a slip up, but like I also think that there's like some of the post.
Yeah, there's a good reason for And Action, but I still don't like that episode.
Yeah, I was just like also just some of the posts. What's this? Gazillion episodes were a bit like off in my opinion, but
Yeah.
either way, like I feel like people over exaggerate Dino Fury's flaws. Like, oh, it's the worst season, bro. Every Power Ranger season got some kind of flaws in some way. It just like does the good stuff. Like, is the good
Wait,
stuff good enough?
wait, wait. You've seriously seen people saying Dino Fury is the worst season?
No, well, like I've people exaggerate it like at that way. Like they exaggerate it that way. You
Do
know.
you remember fucking Mega Force?
I don't know. It just people just like everyone just kind of been taking things for granted.
I'm like, this has been a conversation that's been going on in the larger fandom sphere with the kind of reaction to Multiverse of Madness of people being like, stop getting invested in these fake news site hype trains, and then like acting like it's the company's fault that they didn't deliver on something they didn't plan to do in the first place. And I feel like Illuminerdi is somewhat contributing to that. I feel like
Yeah.
Illuminerdi has become, like, I'm not exaggerating when I say I feel like Illuminerdi has become a pestilent disease on this fandom. And I am sick of contributing to it being a part of this fandom by discussing their stories on this show. From now on, unless a story gets picked up and confirmed by someone I consider to be a legitimate news outlet, like the Tokusatsu Network or what's that other site we use a lot?
Oh,
Toku Nation, or
yeah.
one of those. We're not going to talk about Illuminati shit on this show anymore. I'm going to mute them on Twitter. I'm going to stop following anyone who supports them or believes their rumors right off the bat. And if you start adding me with this shit, if you start talking about it in our comments, I will block you, I will ban you, I will shadow ban you, I will report you for spam, bullying, and harassment. and I will fucking fling my computer into the sun because I am sick and tired of this shit. Y'all are the reason I have gray hairs, not my shitty job.
You heard him. I've already had my big Illuminati rant. No, they stink. End of story.
The only remotely good thing about Illuminerdi is that Josh Perry works for them. He does their toy news. He's a good lad. I like him. I don't like his choice to associate with the Illuminerdi, but that's his choice. He still does fine work on his own.
Yeah, that's basically. I think that's the only one who. I just have to unsubscribe to a Power Rangers YouTuber now because they just posted something about the reunion. Anyway, timing, am I right? Anyway, let's move on to new releases from not Hasbro, thank God. And I'm just tired. We need a Power Rangers break. Let's go to the original source.
No more. Let's do the Rita and Zed from the end of the series. No more Power Rangers. No more Power Rangers.
No more Power Rangers. Anyway, we got a Kamen Rider movie, baby. Kamen Rider Beyond Generations, the Saber Revice 50th anniversary crossover movie featuring Sentry, featuring Ichigo, featuring everybody. I don't know.
I have not enjoyed a Rider movie this much since Be the One.
It was okay.
No, like, I love to draw parallels with Toku shows and mainstream Western franchises. I feel like this was the Kamen Rider equivalent of the Doctor Who 50th anniversary special, Day of the Doctor, where like this does something to advance the story and add on to the canon without damaging anything that's pre-existing, and like keeps the current casts involved enough that you don't feel like they're getting shafted, and keeps you invested in their story and makes you excited to see more adventures with them going forward, while still having this very self-contained, very heartfelt story that kind of speaks to the core of the franchise. I really enjoyed this on a plot level, on a storytelling level, and just on a production level. Those 70s flashbacks, man, I was flipping the hell out. I cannot believe after all these years of them just using the Combat Man, they whipped out the original Shocker grunts, which in my opinion are vastly superior.
Yeah. I will say, for me, this movie is an okay crossover, but as a celebration, it's like 10 out of 10. It's just, the crossover part was just kind of okay to me.
Because they're kind of acting like that, what special was it where they met? We did it on this show, but like, they're like, that's canon, they already know who each other are, moving on.
Yeah, I wish there was a bit more character interaction, like at the end of the like movie, just like more silly bits, or like even just the beginning of the movie when Rintaro and the gang go to the bathhouse. And just like there's some good bits there, but just like they need to be a bit more. And I get it, Saber has a large cast, you can't get everyone there, but like,
I did enjoy them much more than I have in previous encounters, though.
Yeah, this is very closer to like what they are in the actual show, I will say.
Okay.
To me, I don't know if you'll like Saber. Saber seems like a very like I don't know if you'll like this show.
Give it a shot, I guess.
Yeah, give it a shot, I guess. Just form your own opinion.
And like, man, Vice was fucking hilarious in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, like the beginning. Okay. If you read the one of the subtitle tracks on the video we downloaded has like a translation for the messages in behind, and one of the messages was, "We're gonna be a big hit at the box office," and like, oh my, Vice's dialogue here is very like probably the best he's been in the entire like Revice series.
Yeah, he's literally just doing a Deadpool, and it's great.
Yeah, and like, just like it really feels like this is like they got the character down. This is the movie where they got the character down, and what the further like incarnations will be. And it just even he got some good emotional moments, like with Toma talking about promises. Like that's great.
Mm-hmm. And man, everybody just gets a little something to do, even if it's just like one little bit part taking out a general. It feels substantial enough that they don't feel like they're forgotten.
Yeah, and like they at least get a line or like a scene to reaffirm this is this character and this is what they stand for, you know?
Yeah. Like even Sakura, who I think had just become a writer in the show at this point, like gets a pretty substantial role.
Yeah, like she's
Uh,
with the time travel gang.
I
Uh,
mean, here's the thing. I'm not going to say this movie is as good as Be the One or the Black movie I watched recently, but it's like just below there. I have a few minor nitpicks that keep this from being a 10 out of 10, but I enjoyed it so thoroughly that I was like, you know what? I'm okay with those nitpicks. I don't need them to be fixed. Like you can tear apart how the time travel works in this movie if you want to, because hey, you can do that with any time travel story. But I think this is one of those stories like a Back to the Future or a Terminator where the emotional core and the message and the characters keep everything so solid and afloat that you don't care that the time travel logic doesn't work when you think about it too hard.
yeah, even that time travel logic is just, does time travel exist in real life? What logic do we have to go on?
I mean, if uh, from what I've known from like watching documentaries and doing a little bit of research here and there, time travel could theoretically work, but the moment you do it, you break space time as we know it.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I will say the only thing really big problem I have besides the lack of character interaction is mostly just a Revice problem, and that's Hiromi gets a cool build up, but then like gets immediately kicked as dirt.
God, I was laughing my ass off when he's like chewing out Daiji for not doing good enough, and fucking George is like, "Step off my son."
Yeah, it's just like I really went man. That's just more of a Revice problem than this movie problem. I will say, okay. Then we get to the okay. Can we talk about all the cool stuff, the Century and the Ichigo stuff, because that was so good. Like,
Yeah. Like, and that's where some of my nitpicks do come in. Like, I would say I really enjoy the bulk of it. It's just I would alter a little bit of the third act and maybe the casting of the son. Or no, not the son, the grandson. The grandson should have been a bit older given how old the son is. But
you work with what you got, you know. I'm pretty sure like this was like it's still COVID times, so it's like you don't want to get like someone too old at risk. So, you
yeah,
know,
and also story wise, I like that Hongo comes back at the end and forgives us Century, but I would have changed it to have it happen before the final fight, have it be Hiroshi Fujioka, and then have Hongo join in on the final fight.
yeah, that would have been good. Especially because I think Kongo was on set. We saw like some set pics with him. So,
Yeah.
oh, I think it
I
was
did
more
I
just
did I did like how his kid did though. It was a flawless impersonation.
yeah, it was so good. Okay, then like the Century bit, and then the fact that they made Century just this random one-off scientist from the first episode. That's so. That's
I mean, I don't think it's that scientist because that scientist dies at the end of the first episode, but
but
I
like
think it's
a
like
scientist.
he they say he is the scientist that made Rider 1, but I think it's like that scientist was also working on similar stuff and then decided to free Hongo because he's like, no, this is wrong.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, it
Whereas
was like
this guy just tried to bail, and then Shocker was like, haha, fuck you, we're
but
shooting you
like
in the
part
face.
of the science team that created Rider One. So and
Yeah.
that's so cool. And it's like oh his like wholesome relationship with like the son. It's like feels and it's like dang, it just like that. It just like man, it just feels like a great like celebration of the core of the franchise being like yeah like you like love redemption of using evil for good. It's just it just hits. Um
Not to mention, like, clearly they're doing the Rider 1 stuff to try and rope in old men who grew up on Rider 1. And so they make it a story about fatherhood and family because Kamen Rider is very much a family staple in Japan now.
yeah.
Like
And
that,
like
that
honestly,
that's
like
such smart.
it makes me think of just like we all complain about nostalgia being overused, but I think the reason we don't complain as much with Kamen Rider is because most of the time nostalgia is done really well in Kamen Rider.
Hmm.
Like it just we like seeing Hiroshi Fujika come back time and time again because he's usually mostly written well or just has a cool scene, you know?
Hmm. And like it's not like Hiroshi Fujioka isn't a problematic guy. He has some boomer ass opinion, but he's normally pretty respectful about stating them, and he does what's best for the plot of whatever project he's coming back for. He's rarely one of those guys who's like, well, I think my character would do this.
Yeah, he's not like a JDF or, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, and it was really cool seeing like his son take the role. Like it just very sleek suit and like just yeah.
Perfect recreation of how some of those Rider 1 fights look.
Yeah, and, or even just like a nice update to like how it looks like basically this is like what if Toei was in control of Shin Kamen Rider instead of Ano.
Yeah, and I mean, fully remaking that set of and redoing bits of the conversion scene was just because like I haven't seen all of 1971, but the first episode is something I go back and rewatch constantly because it's one of those rare cases where you watch the first installment of a franchise and they're like, wow, you got it on the first try.
Yeah, like man, 1971 is I need to finish that sometime. It's
Yeah,
legit
me
really good.
too. I dropped off in the mid 30s just because
Yeah.
when Rider 1 comes in, that's when it becomes much more the show that Toei wants you to remember, the happy fun monster of the week show. And it only really gets interesting whenever Hongo comes back for a two-parter.
I see.
Not that I don't like Nigo. He's a good boy. Is just not exactly my vibe.
That's fair. That's fair. I still haven't gotten to Nigo yet. I've been really slow when it comes to 1970. I just show us seasons are just come off slower than that's just naturally the case because television was way different back then and franchise goals was different. But yeah, this movie and Shin upcoming does motivate me to finish 1971 eventually. What else? Century Suit is cool.
I didn't like it when they initially revealed it, but I'm glad I didn't stare at it too much or read a bunch of spoilers for this movie because seeing it in context made me go yeah, that's all right. I like that.
Yeah. I still think Sango is the better suit. I still haven't seen GP, but for what they're going for Century, this is a nice recreation of a theoretical other Rider one.
Yeah.
And I do
what other Rider ones do we have at this point?
I don't know, or just another 1971 Rider. But also I do like how Century does connect to the themes of Revice, of family and dual Riders. That's really clever. It's one part past, one part future. That's neat. And yeah, the Saber stuff was okay. I still think Trio of Deep Sin was a better ending for these characters, and the Saber cast are just kind of along for the ride. It's mostly like a Revice story, but still solid.
They're here to bolster the ranks.
Yeah, and just because we have to have the obligatory crossover movie. Yeah, it was neat seeing them again, and I actually do think Tomo was really good here. You really see how motivational of kind of he is, especially to Vice. It was really interesting seeing them interact.
Yeah, but this is certainly the best Rider movie in a while. I haven't seen any of the Saber movies, but I enjoyed it much better than I have any of the 01 movies or the Geo movies.
Yeah. I still think probably the best Rider movie we've gotten in a while that before Shin was probably Trio of Deep Sin. Trio of Deep Sin was just it did not it tried something new and it worked really well.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't even if you just want to don't want to watch Saber, try Trio of Deep Sin. Just it works. It's so very interesting movie. Anyway, let's go on to Revice proper. Kamen Rider Revice. Final thoughts on Beyond Generations before I go into?
I said them. This is the best Rider movie we've gotten in quite a while, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. Nice, good crossover movie with a nice anniversary element. Kamen Rider Revice, episode 35, The Unknown Threat and Road Humanity Must Travel. This was good up until the end.
What didn't you like about the end?
Over demons.
Oh yeah, that was a little.
That's not even bad. It's just underwhelming.
I thought they did a good enough job with the actual debut. It was a good enough moment for what all else was going on in the episode. It's just I don't like this character.
I don't even know about this character. Okay,
They
so
tried so hard last episode, and then with that one scene of him training this episode to make you care about him really quickly. And I was just like, he's a simp.
it doesn't even even just then it's unlike Hiromi. Like Hiromi gets he got character moments in between all that stuff. If they did the same thing with Hikaru, I would be way more on board with Over Demons. But he just doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't even see much character in him. There's not much. I barely scrapes of characterization, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a sense of his personality, or it's just guy the writer.
Yeah, I think I said it last week, but I was hoping that it was going to be Tamaki, but I was expecting it to be George. And then we had guessed based on last week's episode that it was going to be Hikaru, but
Yeah.
this episode, as soon as George went, "Oh, I have a broken arm," I was like, "God damn it, it's going to be Hikaru."
Oh, that's funny because George says got.
uh,
Uh,
But then we don't usually talk about these, but in the next episode preview, you see Tamaki getting a driver and saying Henshin, and I literally jumped out of my chair and screamed. I'm so excited.
the driver has honey on it.
I know.
You know who is a bee themed character that recently got redeemed and could also be that writer, right?
That would be just as good, honestly.
Yeah, I just feel bad for Tamaki.
The boy did his best.
Yeah, he's doing his best.
I love how there's even in the fucking training scene where they're trying to bolster up Hikaru. I was more into Tamaki.
Yeah.
Getting rejected and then being like, "Oh, don't feel bad, me." I was like, "God damn it, Tamaki, you're such a doofus. I love you."
Yeah, he's a great character. Whoever's saying he's not, screw you.
Yeah. And then I like that we finally get some explanation of why Daiji's been seemingly acting out of character. It's Kagero's gone, so his justice sense is overrunning himself.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting thing. I still think it would have been. I still think Kagero shouldn't have died. He should have just been locked up somewhere. I still think killing Kagero too early was a mistake. I'm sorry. Just
Yeah, I really hope they bring him back in the finale or a V cinema.
yeah, because I think Kagero is part why Daji works so well. It's he is it's this duality between the two. And it's because when Kagero isn't around, I don't really care about that. I will say, Daji's development was good this episode. It could have been a bit more dynamic if there was still that element of Kagero just taunting him. Because, yeah, there's other characters taunting him, but it doesn't hit the same as, the Kagero taunts.
Goddamn, Director Man was so good this episode, though.
Yeah, Director Man's really, over those last few episodes, he's really been okay, you know what? I know you all think I'm kind of boring because I haven't done anything. Let me do some things and make you be yeah. He kind of reminds me of that villain from Drive's 30s episodes where it's
oh god, I know his name. It's on the tip of my tongue.
the guy who's he had a fan-ish thing, fanny thing.
Nira?
Nira, I think it was Nira. I don't know, the guy who was taunting Shinosuke.
It snapped in. Yeah, that's Nira. Where anytime anything remotely bad happened to the main cast, he would fucking pitch a tent and start jumping around.
Yeah, basically, and he reminds me of him, just a bit more reserved and yeah. And yeah, I do hope I do think Director Man's gonna get killed off pretty soon, either for Final Form debut or something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, we have no idea what the final form is gonna be, and we're getting pretty close to time.
Yeah, I think next week we'll get some leaks about first look at the final form for Revice, and it's gonna be a cluster F, but who cares? Okay. Hope for the final form. I hope we get Vice and Revi get to do their dual rider thing instead of being one. I hope because they kind of been slacking on Vice suits, and I hope it's another dual rider suit because yeah, that would work well. Either way, solid episode. I do think next week will be we've kind of been building to some moments. It's kind of okay. As I keep saying with Kamen Rider, I think a lot of Modern Rider works better as a binge than week to week.
Mm-hmm. But for as much as I enjoyed the "oh shit, what are we gonna do now"ness of this episode, because oh man, fucking blowing up the helicarrier.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. That was a big oh god.
But for as much as I enjoyed that, I'm looking forward to next week even more because like we've got that new driver, we've got Director Man's big plan, and we've got more Daiji characterization coming down the pipe. It's gonna be hype shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Man, this would have been a way better time to introduce Holy Live than when they actually did. I'm sorry if I'm salty over Daiji development, but like you could have like you just now.
Yeah, same.
And now Peak Fiction Show again. Avatar Sentai Dawn Brothers, episode 11. As sick as a dog. This was fun mixed with oh.
this I love how this show is just in a way not giving a fuck about anything and doing what he wants. Like
Yeah.
for as much as I know there's a whole sect of the writer fandom that hates Inoue's writing style, and I have my qualms with it. I've expressed them in the past. I love that he's just basically doing a sitcom plot here, and then in the last 10 minutes he goes, "Oh yeah, this is hentai shit."
Yeah, and it's like, or just like he just intermix them, where it's just like people are just going out and in of this battle, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like maybe it's just me and my stupid eyes, but I think the CGI motion capture is getting better.
Little bit. I laughed out loud when I saw that bowl of salt on his head, man.
Yeah, that's great. And it's just how it translates from the. I love that. I love stuff like that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just sort of like yeah, pretty funny episode. I do like it does like I don't know, funny. I mostly the only thing that really stood out to me besides oh yeah, the ninja guy. I thought he was gonna be the six. Dumb me.
You what? I'm sorry, man. That's hilarious.
He was in the preview for last week, and I was like, oh okay, that's why I thought he was gonna be the six. So I was like, oh, he's just a monster of the week. Oh yeah, it's Ninja week. Oh okay.
Yeah, and I love how they use Ninja as just a total joke monster.
Yeah, I knew you would like it. Like Naruto fans when they get angry. Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's a banger tweet. It's a banger tweet that I made.
That got 4 likes. Although, like, even if you like Ninja, I think the monster still works well. Is like because Ninja's a very comedy focused. This is a very like absurd character, so it's like
Yeah. And I love that Donmomotaro from moment one is just not having any of his shit.
Yeah, he looks so cool in this episode. Like when he blocks the like little shurikens, he's like, this again, Just like legit, he's probably like I love this guy. I just love all these characters and just all the like wacky shenanigans yet cool stuff.
Yeah.
And
then there's we actually I was expecting it to be held off on for a little while, but we actually get an explanation as to what the Bestials are this week.
Yeah, they're basically all those humans from the bus, and they're basically puppets. All those humans from the bus are dead, and like now are like almost dead, or just basically being possessed by the Bestials.
Their bodies are eventually probably going to turn into super monsters of the week.
Yeah. And basically, like, the brain persons basically kill, like, as we already know, they basically kill the bodies, but, like, the Dodd brothers save the bodies. And also, like,
shit, I just remembered. We also find out what the hell is going on with Taro's dad.
Oh.
Because the Sarah brains explain that, like, he's the guardian between the two worlds.
Oh. So, like, did Taro's dad, like, send his son to protect one of these worlds?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Well, no, because he finds him at the start of the series. I think it's just a role that he got roped into because he chose to adopt Taro.
Yeah, probably something. Because he just seemed like a regular guy at the start when he saw Taro's baby Taro. So it's like, yeah, so much intrigue. I love it. And then can we talk about the ending? I really want to talk about the ending.
That ending legitimately had me go like doing one of those like you're pushing yourself up out of your chair, and I was like, "Yo, Inoue, what the fuck?"
Yeah, like so Kiji's like we already got some tease where it's like Inisaba might think that like Kiji's wife was his former girlfriend. God, it's.
We saw flashbacks where it's like, oh, that's the same actress. What's going on there?
And then we see, like, she makes origami, and the thing is, origami's a big tip-off, like, specific kinds of origami. She made it, like, or crane is, like, a big tip-off of if someone's possessed, and she made the origami, And then it cuts to preview, and it's like, oh!
Well, first she took the origami out of Tsubasa's mouth, which was making him sick, and then she goes into the kitchen, throws it away, and makes her own. And she just kind of plays with it for a second before they cut to black.
Yeah, cut to preview. It's like, okay, so here's my thing. So Inusaba's girlfriend's probably dead.
Uh-huh.
And Kiji's basically married a monster.
Yeah.
Oh, the drama.
The drama, especially because like in this episode he's like annoyingly shoving her picture in Haruka's face and being like, "Isn't my wife pretty? Tell me my wife's pretty. Tell me I'm married up."
Yeah, he really emphasizing the wife guy. Like basically emphasizing that I basically relying on my wife. So it's like I think Kiji's gonna have to learn some like self-dependency.
Yeah, that might be his arc.
Yeah, I kind of hope they kind of deal with this like sooner than later, like at least halfway through the show, because I feel like if you crammed all of it at the end, then it's like, that's gonna get a bit messy. And
You know
also,
what?
I think
I'm gonna make a bold, baseless prediction. When the sixth show is up, the sixth is gonna be able to detect bestials, and like 2 or 3 episodes into the sixth being there, he'll like come home with I forgot his name.
Suoichi.
Yeah, he'll come home with the pink guy.
Yeah, Kiji.
For some reason, and he'll just immediately see his wife and be like, dude, we gotta talk."
Yeah, and then I think like what emphasizes these like dramatic moments is like oddly the preview. Like I keep saying it, but the preview song is like it's so dramatic in a way, and it's like it really emphasizes the adrenaline.
Especially because they played it over the final fight. Like, oh, we're just showing you a bit of the fight real quick so we can go to credits. And then it stopped so we could see the reveal about the wife.
Yeah, and just like the music, the haunting music, little like eerie like background noise. Oh, that's so good. It just like even just the editing is just being like impressing me in this show. It's just but like also there was a funny scene with like the old man running. That was funny.
Yeah, that was not quite as bad as Saber running up the CGI bridge, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's not even bad. It's just funny to me, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But no, this is a great episode. Probably the best one in a little bit here.
Oh yeah. Also, we talk about because they changed the opening visuals.
Yeah, they put in shots of Don Oni-Tajin, but
and the Robotaros. That's neat.
Yeah,
and we're gonna see Don Oni-Tajin next week. So let's go.
I'm excited.
Yeah, there's a really cool shot in the opening where it's like you see Don Oni-Tajin from the perspective of like an office building as he grows, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, I hope that's actually part of the transformations.
Well, slight spoiler: Don Oni-Tajin can fight on the ground, so it's like that might be part of it.
Ooh.
So like they basically just made like, okay, we're gonna have robo fights both big and small, and I love that. The Robotar we've already seen that with the Robotaros, but it's great to know that Don Oni-Tajin is also participating. But yeah, Dunbar's good. Probably the best Toku. Actually, no, not high school here. Dang, it's a really good like time for Toku when Dogenders is getting a run for its money. We'll talk about Dogenders in a bit. But first it's basically how I'm gonna handle Dogenders. Since Vac isn't watching it, it's gonna be part of old stuff and toys section. So, yeah. Anyway, speaking of old stuff and toys,
you watched a lot of old stuff.
Yeah. So last week, I forgot to mention this last week. I watched Kuga. I finished it finally.
Yeah, it's good. Where were you? Where did you pick up at?
Like episode 25, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I got halfway through when that first released on Shout Factory TV, but I just got like I don't know what happened. I did skim through like previous episodes to make sure to get caught up of like, okay, what details do I need to remember? So not just like because like I find it often it's better for me to just binge a show like within like a few days, like all of it in a few days, than just like wait weeks upon weeks where I keep forgetting details, you know?
Yeah.
Which is probably not why probably the worst thing I should be doing on a weekly review podcast, but anyway.
But you've seen all of Kuga now. What do you think?
Good show. Yeah, very good. Very good. Very good. Kamen Rider will never do anything like this again. And
But that's why it's so good.
yeah, and I do think it doesn't need to because they kind of perfected it, and I feel like any time to do it would be a pale imitation.
Yeah, like people talk about like, okay, you know the fucking Kamen Rider on HBO meme?
Yeah, Kamen Rider Gaim on HBO.
You people just want Kuga. You just want to watch Kuga. Go back and watch Kuga. Kuga's good. Kuga is what Kamen Rider would be if it was made on an American like premium cable network.
Yeah, just it's legally available in America through Shell Factory, and I'm
Yeah.
really it's a good show, very good show.
It's a very slow burn. I will agree with that knock against it, but I'd argue it's an enjoyably slow burn.
Yeah, it's not even like a terrible, but because I feel like it's a nice way to space out the toys. Because Kuga probably has the best use of forms I've seen. Because it's not like each form is stronger than the next. It's like each form is versatile, and then they get built on with their own power ups. That's a really cool way of handling it.
Yeah, the only time they've done it remotely like that is, funnily enough, Wizard with the dragon forms.
Yeah. I can kind of yeah, yeah. Well, oh yeah, completely forgot about that. Where it's like it kind of okay, you got all the little side power ups, and then you got power ups to the side power ups, and then we're gonna fuse them for dragon form, and then we're gonna go traditional final form infinity. Which yeah. The power up ways the way they introduce the toys is great. The little drama side plots are very intriguing. There's some really good morals to be found here. Like
I forget the lady's name, but I fucking love that one scientist lady subplot of falling in love with Jan, which almost completely happens off screen, but the little bits we get of it are just so wholesome and great.
Yeah, Jan's great. He's I think the only Western person in a comic show.
Yeah,
and it's great. He's not just a
character. He so clearly speaks Japanese natively, but they were like, "We need you to speak English.
Yeah,
you're gonna say good morning. You're gonna say good morning, and you're gonna make it sound as natural as possible." Oh, okay. Good morning.
Yeah, and it just he's great, and there's just a lot of side characters, reoccurring side characters. You don't see that often in Rider as much.
Yeah, it really shows how expansive and interesting you can make the non Rider cast when you just have one Rider facing one set of villains.
Yeah, and it's it shows the impact of it's everything. It still connects to it because basically most of the plots of the show revolve around the impact Kuga and the unidentified laugh forms have. Also, you know what people don't really talk about as much that I think they should be? The final villain. I know he doesn't get much screen time, but he just from the little screen time he gets, I kind of love him.
He's legitimately terrifying.
Yeah, he kind of gives me he has this very fun-loving voice, but it's he says this in a kind of a scary, eerie way, and it's oh, that's my favorite kind of villain.
Also, Ichigo is totally, Mr. Ichijo is totally gay.
Yeah, he and Yusuke, they'd be gross.
There's so many scenes where people are just I'm sure you got a lady friend back home who's worried about you, and he's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Kuga's a romance story. It's about the romance story of a cop and a Kamen Rider.
Yeah, it's the greatest romance of our time.
Yeah. And and I do like how they play with Yusuke being kind of a freelance talented. He kind of just does whatever, a very carefree guy, and it's man, I wish I could have that job. Just with having all these skills to just do whatever and pay bills and stuff. That'd be fun. He helps archaeology, he helps the kids, he does freaking drums. It's amazing.
And he's just genuinely a nice guy who you want to see succeed. From before he even becomes a writer. One of my favorite moments in the whole show is just that bit in the first episode where he's going to check out the ruins. And he just walks past these guards and is like, "Oh, sorry, I'm late, boss."
Yeah, he's a very charming character, and I think it's even enhanced by he didn't really want to do it at first, because I know Onodera warmed up to Kuga as it went on, and it's it just really this guy he even though he initially didn't really want to do a Toku, he warmed up to it, and it's that's wholesome as heck, and he still gave it his 100% from the beginning. It's just Kuga's one of those miracle stories that you can't really do anymore. And we'll preserve it. It's great. It launched. I think it's a worthy start to basically Kamen Rider's modern era. You know, it's
I
good
can't
stuff.
I can't wait until we're in our 40s and the actor finally comes back.
Yeah, we'll just be like, we're still doing this podcast or not if like Illuminati kills us.
Yeah, let him try.
Yeah, I don't know. Also decided, hey, I want to watch a movie. Oh wait, I have not watched any of the Kamen Rider Build movies besides Heisei Final. Let's watch Be the One because Vac is always praising it, and also I never watched the Build Summer movie. Be
Is
the
it
One's
not
really
great?
good. No, it's good.
Yeah,
It's
it's
good.
so good. I
Yeah.
love that. Like
It's a good culmination of Build's themes. Like,
before the show's even like halfway over too.
no, this is like before it's halfway over. Like, this is
Yeah,
like
that's
near
what
the
I'm
end.
saying. It's like here is everything right now. You don't even have to watch the rest of the show. You
Yeah,
should, but you don't have to.
yeah, it's a good like. It kind of works as a standalone. It basically just like this is everything Build is, and I'm not sure if like that would be like worse or better than like just an expansion movie. I mean, this is a guy who does expand. Basically, introduces the entire blood race of evil that they would later expand on the V cinemas. Um, and like I don't think it's required viewing, but the fact that I feel like the show is enhanced more from it, that's good. You know?
Yeah. There's also just like some incredible action and cinematography.
Oh yeah, like especially with all the shots of like large swarms of people like chasing Bill. That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
that motorcycle chase is probably the best one they've done since the first and the next.
Yeah, yeah, it really just emphasizes like kind of like yo, build kind of Kino.
Yeah.
And like yeah, man, the banjo Sento stuff. I don't know how they made them even gayer, but they did. And it's great.
How do you make the two gayest Kamen Rider protagonists even gayer? You make
This
them
movie,
Kamen Rider double.
yeah. I will say the last fight like was a bit mixed. There's some cool stuff, but it felt a bit messy. Just because of like the CGI background they use. I don't know, but like it
Yeah.
was still like the overall emotions. I still got it, and it's great. Like, and I do love how it's like it's both. It's not just build and cross. It's both. It's both of their individual philosophies just combined into one when they're like doing the final speech. That's
Yeah.
really good writing. Also, Everlasting Sky is a really good insert song. And
Yeah,
also,
I need to re-listen to that. I haven't heard that in a while.
it's I don't like listening to it because it makes me want to cry, so I don't want to constantly cry. But like,
Fair
yeah, it's
enough.
great. Everlasting Sky's a bop, even though the film's called Be the One, so it's just that's a bit weird. you know,
I mean, they already did beat a one.
yeah, I know, but it's just funny. Just like okay, this film is called the theme song, but the theme song's not in it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Like at least with the Geo movie, apparently the villains are called Quartzers, so it's like that works.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, and I kind of can see it as Be the One because Sento and Ryuga become one, so it's like yeah, I don't know. Either way, good movie. The Geo cameo was like nothing like the original series, but it still was very fun.
Yeah.
Like
That's
and I'm
like the
like
one that's like the one smirch on that movie's otherwise perfect record.
it's not even like a bad cameo. It's just like there's usually cameos with like just shows that are like oh like this is nothing like the original show. Like X-Aid's cameo in Ghost movie was like nothing like
Oh
how it
yeah.
was. But it's still like still like a fine cameo. But I still like it. It's just like is it like a fun like look at? I think it is.
It's like
Um,
it's a peek at what early concepts they had.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. I think, and it's like I still love that kind of stuff, like seeing like oh like how they like and how the Revice like cameo and Senki how they like had a different rider kick and it just just like the early concepts and visualizations of the concepts that we got in the final show. So just
Yeah.
either way, yeah, good movie. Now for
Definitely.
Dog Engers, finally finished nice, buddy. The last few episodes made me want to cry. Oh my god.
Damn.
Uh, so basically, without I don't want to spoil too much, but basically the ending message of this is basically like keep on creating, you'll get better, and that just spoke to me so hard.
Oh.
And it's like man, like it's really feels like man, that's just Doug Enders loves Tokusatsu. It loves fan works of Tokusatsu. It's just a show like built on passion, and you can really feel that.
Yeah, it sounds like they really get it, the creators of that series.
Yeah, I mean, there are like as these are real heroes. Those are real local heroes that have like little jobs and like other side things along with Dog Enders. But the story is fictional. It's like that's the tagline. The heroes are real, but the story is fictional.
Mm.
But it can still touch you in a way. It's just so good. And then like basically everything they do of Great Zed. There's a cameo by like I'm not gonna spoil who it is because you're gonna mark out over it. I can guarantee you. Like I'll say
Okay.
it's from a Kamen Rider alumni, and it's a very good cameo at the end, and it's like that's wholesome as heck.
Okay, because I do want to watch all of Dog Enders at some point. It's just like now is not the time.
Fair, fair, fair. I will force you maybe when you finish Black. Who knows? Just a complete
I thought you
180.
were gonna force me to watch an Ultra show.
Okay, fine. Ultra Show, then Dog Enders.
Okay.
And then the currently airing Dog Enders season 3, High School. This is pretty cute. Really captures the high school vibe and kind of like, man, I wish I had this show when I was in high school because it really gets given off like very good messages. Like like it's very much like this is the new hero, Mako, and and basically her sword buddy, and it's basically just like reverse Sonic, not reverse Sonic in the Black Knight. It just is Sonic in the Black Knight because you have this, because you have basically a sword boy who can turn into a sword, and Mako uses the sword to become the hero, and it's like super good and adorable, and it's cute, and it's very good messages and like vibes, and also Great Zed, or now should I say Great Two, is a pizza guy, and it's amazing. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it's very much like a very chill. Like, and then again, first half of Dog Edger seasons are usually pretty chill compared to like the very heavier second half. So it's like, this week's episode that just got subbed, episode 5. It was kind of probably the weakest one, but it was still very funny. You had basically like kendo class, and Mako's friend was basically like having some self esteem issues, and Fuko Caliber and Mako were like kind of like helping her out with that, and it's like a good wholesome story. And I like how like each Dog Eater season seems to be tackling like different angles. Like this is kind of tackling like the youth of Tokusatsu, while last season was like this is the marketing of Tokusatsu. Um, and then like the first season was like this is like general passion for Tokusatsu and like what these heroes stand for. I always like how they keep it like they're just showing like Tokusatsu is so versatile. You can get so many angles and like messages from it. It's like so good. And now I want to buy merchandise, but I don't know where. Someone get on that.
Yeah. But hey, speaking of merchandise, I have some stuff to talk about because I did something I've been meaning to for a long time now, which is put in my first order from Kotetsu Toys Japan.
Yeah,
Who, if
we've talked about them here and there.
Yeah, if you somehow haven't heard, because this is one of those things that I'm like, you kind of have to be under a rock in this fandom not to know about this guy yet. But Kotetsu Toys Japan is a website run by a Japanese native known as Taka, who also has a YouTube channel where he posts videos with English subtitles. Mainly just interacting with Western Tokusatsu fandom, and like the slogan of his website is Tokusatsu items for the whole world, because his website is kotetsu-toys-japan.jp, so it's a Japanese native site, but you can order from anywhere in the world. And he mostly sells used stuff. I don't think he does pre-orders, but he always sells like very reasonably priced stuff compared to like trying to hunt something down on eBay or dig through pages upon pages of Mandarake listings, which nothing against Mandarake. I just find that site to be a bit of a hassle. But his site, I've always been like, this is a pretty solid looking site, and he's a very charismatic guy, so I would like to buy some stuff from him. I just never seem to have money when he's putting up stuff I want. And then a couple weeks ago, he said on Twitter, like, hey, I just got a bunch of mini posters for the Revice and Dom Brothers summer movies and Shin Ultraman. So if you order stuff from me and request and put it in the request mark, I'll send you one of the mini posters.
He
So I
does it
was like,
often with
yeah,
like with whatever current Toku movies out. He'll get a bunch of posters and he'll put them with orders.
yeah, do like a little promotion to draw up sales. But I was like, okay, that's the push I finally need because I do kind of want the Shin Ultraman poster. So I just started digging through what he currently had in stock and ordered a couple things. And before I get into what those things are, I do want to say, like, I was really impressed with the ordering process and also how I received my items. Like, probably better than most of the major online retailers I deal with because his checkout is mostly like a very simplified version of what other sites do, but he also just had one additional option that I've never seen before and really appreciated, which was under shipping, you can just select whatever is fastest and cheapest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, thanks, you took the guesswork out of it for me. So I selected that, and then when my items arrived here via, I believe it was International USPS, he shipped it. He packed them in like this time. I'm not even sure it's like what the box was originally shaped as. It's like he cut off panels of a box and shaped it into a new box that's just the right size. And then he individually shrink wrapped and bubble wrapped each item and put additional padding in. Like, that is a level of care I've only ever seen from one other site, which is TF Source. And I like TF Source, but I rarely want to buy stuff from them just because, like, they only sell Transformers, and very rarely do they have Transformer stuff I want when I want it. But no, to see it packed that way was just like very impressive. And then the items I got were pretty much in exactly the condition they were described as. Like first and foremost, I got the DX Shoto phone, which is the changer from Samurai Sentai Shinkanger. I've wanted one of these for a long time, since even before I had seen Shinkanger, because back when Samurai was on the air and the new hotness and all that, I was incredibly annoyed that the American Samuraiser toy is literally just like a dollar store flip phone with not even show accurate sound.
Yeah.
It doesn't do the pen, but the Shoto phone does do the pen, and I love how it does it. It's such like simple but effective, chunky transformation engineering. I have kept this thing at my desk since I got it because it's like a perfect little Toku themed stress ball. And the sounds are he said like, oh, it's starting to sound a little tinny in the description, but they still sound perfectly fine to me. All the buttons work as they're supposed to. There's only like a little bit of paint wear and tear on the edges, but it's that kind of wear and tear where it's like, I like this. It gives it character. It shows that like somebody had this before me and they played with it like it's supposed to be played with. So yeah, Shoto Phone's a great toy. I'm glad I finally have it. I also got the DX Shining Hopper Progress key, and I've had a 01 driver for quite a while, and I have a couple of additional keys are to everybody in the room, and I imagine the next year.
What 001 stuff do you still?
All of Aruto's upgrades. I might go ahead and get it just to complete, so I might as well go ahead and get that one if I'm gonna try. Kamen Rider Ryuki Sophobie Final, which, if you don't know, that's like kind of the main, but I dig this one. My shelf, and is this from Ryuki, or is this like a Decade or a Geo toy? The year this toy was made, Ryuki, but I have watched Dragon.
Like all the way to the end?
It's so many shows that I'm just like, I want to watch that as soon as possible.
I will his like when he got his order, I'm like, oh yeah, I have a key of like coupon codes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have a coupon code, and I kind of want that Shin Ultraman or Revice poster. I'm gonna order something.
Oh, by the way, I think I know what seen those in the in stock page when I was looking for my stuff. Well, that's everything. So, Buster, why don't you tell everyone?
Hey everybody, this is Editing Vacuuminator here to let you know that, something went screwy with the recording towards the end there, and a lot of our audio got choppy, to the point where you basically can't hear the outro at all. I tried my best to clean up the rest of it, but obviously it didn't go too well. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode nonetheless, and hopefully if you haven't already, you'll go follow me and Buster at our social media links in the video description, and, yeah, guys. That was, this week in Toku. Sure was a week. Guess I'll see you back here next week for whatever happens that week in Tokusatsu. Uh...